Hello fam, welcome to Harlem, USA. Between 117th Street and 118th Street on 8th Avenue. This summer we did a series of collectors from the neighborhood. So that's what we're going to be showing you in the next few videos. So welcome, hang out with us, listen, learn, and enjoy. Thank you. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Collectors in Harlem. We're between 118th Street and 170th Street on 8th Avenue. And today I want to welcome my very good friend, Paul. Paul, come on through and say hello. My man.
Peace, bro. Give thanks, give thanks.
Okay, we're going to talk about photography, so let's come on around here and have a conversation. Here we go.
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. What have you been up to? You're always up to a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep the faith, you know.
He's one of our outstanding poets in the community. I just want to recognize that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Without a doubt.
I hope I'm a reflection of you.
Oh, no. I'm trying to catch up to you, okay. Without a doubt. Question, when were you first exposed to photography?
I was first exposed to photography when I was a kid, and it was during the Civil Rights Movement.
Uh-huh.
I would see photographs of black people in places like Birmingham being water hosed and being beaten by people like Bull Connor.
Okay.
Perspective of my life that I couldn't ignore. And of course, you know, there were other occasions when you would see portraits of people that you loved, you know, like a portrait of Du Bois. I remember in the library, I remember seeing a portrait of Frederick Douglass, and you know, sometimes I would see pictures of various personalities in magazines like Ebony or Jet. So those were my earliest exposures to photography in magazines and in those instances, museums, places where some sense of what life was all about, and the places and the struggles that shaped me and my people. That was sort of like the landscape that exposed me to photography.
Okay, you speak of the word library. I know you affiliated or you worked at Wadley for many, many years as a major librarian. Give us a little bit of background on that.
Well, Wadley Library is a...
Wadley's in New York City, by the way, Harlem, USA. Okay.
And Wadley Library is a piece of history. But I not only worked there, I worked for various branches of the New York Public Library. For example, there's a library across from Marcus Garvey Park that is only a few blocks from where Langston Hughes' brownstone is.
Okay.
And Langston Hughes, although I never met him, and I think Langston died in 1968, and I wasn't even in New York, but the narrative is that what Langston would do is to write his poems in his brownstone, and then he would walk to the library across from Marcus Garvey Park, and he would read those poems to children and to adults, and as a consequence of that, you know, you'd hear things like, "I too sing America."
Okay.
"I am the Drucker brother."
Okay.
"They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes."
Okay. Hey, Miriam.
You know, that kind of work. You know, I know you didn't want me to.
No, I love it.
To break into a Langston.
I love it.
So to answer your question, specifically, I worked for Schomburg, various branches of the New York Public Library for 10 years, and subsequently took a position at Wadley Secondary School prior to its renovation. And of course, Wadley has a long history. That area, that neighborhood, is the neighborhood of Langston Hughes. It's the neighborhood of a number of poets and playwrights, and much of that Harlem Renaissance energy came out of the neighborhood of Wadley. You know, you have Minton's Playhouse, it's right nearby.
Yep.
Specifically, working at Wadley was just an opportunity for me to try and pull together as many avenues of expression that would allow me as a black man to extend who we were to the larger community, and to try and get young brothers and sisters who've never heard of a Langston Hughes, or who've never heard of maybe a James Van Der Zee, or who've never heard of a Howard Cash, to come into a space, a library. I could give them a book, a book of photography. I could give them a book of James Van Der Zee's work. So Wadley became a place which allowed me to embrace the essence of who I am, which is to say, the essence of who I am as a black man.
Okay. Now I know you have a pretty good photography collection. I'm honored to be in that collection, but who else do you have in that collection?
Well, they're not all of them are originals, but I have a Van Der Zee, for example. I have there's a photographer by the name of Moneta Sleet Jr. I think that's Moneta Sleet Jr.
Yeah.
I have
He
him.
shot for Ebony.
Exactly, shot for Ebony.
Yeah.
I have, of course, your work. So it's an eclectic collection of work. Not all of them are known. You know, I mean, there's a brother from I think he's from my hometown, but he may be from Phoenix, Arizona. And in fact, he's in New York now. I think he's in his 70s. But I've collected his work for a number of years. I'm forgetting his last name because I haven't seen him in a while, but his first name is Dwayne Mitchell. I don't know if you know Dwayne. So there are a number of, and there's some sisters, some ladies, whose work, as I said, I don't have the originals, but I have, duplicates of a lot of their work, and so it's just a plethora of artists, all of color. Not that other folks can't contribute artistically, but these brothers and sisters, they spoke to the human experience, and they spoke to me specifically as a black man, and not to be peculiar, but I know some brothers who took some pictures of some sisters that would blow your mind. And then I remember a piece of your work, and I'm not referencing it right now, but I see it in my mind's eye. I mean, there's a picture that's hanging in my wall that you took of a sister, I think in Nigeria, and you could see the pain and anxiety in her face. And it just reminded me of when I was growing up as a kid. There's some photographs of sisters and brothers who were in cotton fields. I picked cotton as a kid. And I could see the anxiety and the frustration and the pain, the poverty, So you asked me initially who were some of the other photographers that I had collected, and I mentioned a couple, Gordon Parks, for example, artists, because I consider brothers like you artists, who they spoke to my heart, they spoke to the human experience, and as a consequence of that, they're sitting in my crib. I'd have to go through a list of about 10 of them. So I'll just say Van Der Zee being maybe the most prominent, Gordon Parks, of course you, Moneta Sleet Jr., and others.
And where are they shaped around your house? Where are they hanging around your
house? I consciously hang them where they can be seen. when people come into my crib,
Okay.
my house, of course, my living room, they're interspersed with
Okay.
the artwork of
Okay.
artists, primarily sculptors from wood carvers from Africa,
Okay.
from the Caribbean, from throughout
Okay.
the diaspora. So
Okay.
they're hanging in juxtaposition or as a part of the what I consider a spiritual aesthetic,
Okay.
which means that you come into my crib and you have on my hall, for example, there happens to be a picture that I took. It's nothing like yours.
Okay.
I was with somebody and I took this picture, and it's a small picture, and then the next three pictures all the way down the hall are pictures that you took.
Okay.
One of them
Thank
are
you.
of the sister that I was telling you, or the
Okay.
sisters. They were
Okay.
in this boat, and I think it was in Nigeria, and you could just see the
Okay.
pain in her face.
Now, what advice would you have for young collectors?
Well, first of all, celebrate who you are. What
Okay.
speaks to your heart?
Okay.
What speaks to your experience?
Okay.
What speaks to who and what you are?
Okay.
And that's something that you do. You know, that's what's so important. That's what makes you an artist, because I'm talking about Howard Cash now. You capture a moment. You capture the essence of a moment, of a person. You know, for example, in my crib, there one of your portraits. This is not hanging in the wall. This is hanging in the living room. One of your portraits is a picture of a woman's hands, and she's you don't see anything but her hands, but her story, her hands, tell a story. You can see that those hands have struggled. You can see that those hands have had to endure. And those hands, you could see the essence of who we are as a people.
Okay.
And as I said, you don't see a picture, you just see, and I think you know the portrait that I'm talking about. It's just a picture of this woman's hands, just this black woman's hands, just right there. To answer your question about where I hang my pictures, I hang them so that they can be seen. The purpose of them is to be seen. But I also hang them because I want to be always reminded and be in touch spiritually with who I am.
Okay.
So you have them in my living room, you have them in my bedroom, you have them in my library, you know. So, you know, they're really kind of all over, you know.
All right. I want to thank you very much for being here, for talking to me, talking to us, sharing some of your wisdom, some of your experiences and insight.